Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Raw Take. I'm your host, Rob Reed. This is your review for the August 24th, 2021 edition of WWE NXT. This was a fun show, though it you can definitely feel some of the changes already. We'll get into it. We started. We start off the first segment of the night. Out comes Cameron Grimes with uh, Ted DiBiase, and Cameron Grimes is, when Ted first showed up in NXT, he was driving him crazy, and Ted DiBiase says, "I did that on purpose." He said, I was looking for the right person to be my successor as $1 million champion, and you fit the bill because of what you weren't just a rich guy. You were strong. You were strong of mind, strong of spirit, which I do think is funny. Seeing as Ted DiBiase, as the $1 million man, spent his entire career as the most horrible heel in the world. Uh, I thought it was funny. He looked to the new babyface as his uh, worthy successor. But Cameron Grimes says, you know, when he first won all that, got all that money, he let it go to his head, and he said now he wants to know where to go from here, and Ted DiBiase says we're going to go to the moon. And then cannons shot off Cameron Grimes Bucks into a fun opening segment. Uh, Next, we got Ridge Holland versus Timothy Thatcher. This is a good match, but here's where I can already where I will say you're already kind of seeing signs of the changes. As good as the match was, let's face it, you knew who was winning here, even though I personally am much bigger fan of uh, Timothy Thatcher. Ridge Holland is the younger, bigger guy, and they gave Ridge Holland quite the definitive win here. And he did a jackhammer as his finish. Pinned uh, Thatcher clean as a whistle. No, no interference. Just beat him straight up. So already, though I get it. They've already kind of been pushing Ridge Holland. So I'm not. This I didn't think was too terrible. Uh, I, Ciampa ended up running into the ring. He attacked, but then Oni Lorcan and the returning Danny Burch came out and beat up Tommaso Ciampa uh, to set up the eventual, Ridge Holland Tommaso Ciampa match, which I'm sure Ridge Holland will be winning that one too. Next, we have this was very confusing. We have a tag team match. Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter are taking on Gigi Dolan and JC Jean. And for all the build up to, for all the vignettes we've been seeing for JC Jane and Gigi Dolan, they lose in like 4 minutes. And it's a really weird way it happened too. Like JC Jane did a move, did like a brogue kick, and then like right after they go right into the finish for the babyface. Like there was no real setup. There was no like reversal to get into the baby faces to get their they just did their finish, and that was it. Like right after JC Jane had done like a really big power move. It was really weird. And also this new tag team that you've been establishing already have lost. Have already lost a match. Okay. So yeah, already starting to see the uh, main roster stink starting to envelop NXT. Uh, Next, we have a interview with Raquel Gonzalez after a match with uh, Dakota Kai. She mentions Kaylee Ray showing up, and but then she's cut off by Frankie Monet, and says you shouldn't be worried about Kaylee Ray. You should be worried about me. Next, we see interviews with Odyssey Jones, uh, and and a little later we see Carmelo Hayes. They're setting up their finals match for the breakout tournament. Next, we have Kaylee Ray takes on. I did not catch the woman's name. She was like a Brazilian wrestler. She had kind of a like Brazilian get up on her costume. Kaylee Ray won pretty quickly. Uh, Next, we saw Gigi Dolan and JC Jane in the back talking about their uh, loss. They blew off the question, and then Mandy Rose showed up and told them to follow her, and they will never feel like losers again. So I thought they were already supposed to be following Mandy Rose, but now I guess it's official. Um, Samoa Joe comes out to celebrate his title win. He says uh, he choked out Karrion Kross, sent him packing, hurt him so bad he apparently Samoa Joe hurt Karrion Kross so bad that he got amnesia and now thinks he's a gladiator from the from prehistoric times. So he says he'll fight anybody. This brings out Pete Dunne. He has a few words. Then LA Knight comes out, who just lost his last match, but whatever. They need new faces. So out comes LA Knight. he has a few words. Kyle O'Reilly comes out, cuts them off. Uh, he calls Pete Dunne Peter Dune, which I always thought was kind of funny. He calls LA Knight La Knight. Uh, I'm okay with Cool Kyle. He's goofy and stupid, and sometimes on all the right ways. Um, he does go overboard sometimes. Like it did not work during his feud with when he was getting ready for his title match, but here he was funny enough. Uh, then, uh, while he was talking, Ridge Holland comes up from behind him and hits him in the leg. This brings out Tommaso Ciampa, who takes on, who starts a fight with uh, Ridge Holland. There's a big schmoz. That gets all taken care of. And while Ridge Holland is walking up the ramp, Samoa Joe is looking at that, and you see Tommaso Ciampa staring daggers at the NXT title, which I thought was a really cool, a really nice callback to. And if we get even one match of Samoa Joe versus Tommaso Ciampa, I will be very happy. Excuse me. Next, we have a backstage segment with Cameron Grimes and Ted DiBiase. Cameron Grimes is saying he wants to, as much as he appreciates having the $1 million championship, he believes that that title deserves to stay with Ted. And Ted says the belt will always remind Grimes of who he really is. And Grimes said the belt he's holding now feels a little bit lighter, and he turns the belt around, and it says, "This says official WWE replica belt. What are you doing?" And then Ted DiBiase does the $1 million man laugh, and he drives off. Cameron Grimes says, "That damn Ted DiBiase." Another cute segment. I'm actually fine with them finishing off with the $1 million title. It's not needed in NXT. It was a fun storyline, but it's not something that's needed on NXT. So I'm fine with that. And this whole story has done a really good job of establishing Cameron Grimes as a babyface now. So it did what it set out to accomplish. So kudos to that. Next, we have the finals of the breakout tournament. This was a really fun match. Carmelo Hayes versus Odyssey Jones. Really fun match. It's looking like Odyssey Jones might already be going to main roster. I know he's been on main event. He's been winning matches on main event specifically. But this was a fun match. They did a really cool job of having Carmelo Hayes go after the legs of Odyssey Jones to take him down, to get him down closer to his size, and he's able to pick up the win. After a really fun match, he even kicks out of a big splash from Odyssey Jones, and he was able to end up picking up the win. After the match, he makes sure to shake Odyssey Jones' hand. Gets on the mic. He talks about how good of a competitor Aussie Jones is. I thought it was really cool way of, uh, making sure everybody knows he's the babyface. Calls himself the final. He's now the final boss. Really cool stuff. This was really good. It did feel like the end of end of NXT as we know it. Next, we we have a really cool backstage segment with uh, Pete Dunne, Ridge Holland, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch say they never lost the tag titles to begin with, so they're going after MSK. Peter Dunne, Pete Dunne says he's going after Samoa Joe, and Ridge Holland is going after Tommaso Ciampa. So every member has someone in their matches in their future, which is really good to see. Actual, you know, cohesive storytelling here. Uh, Next, we see Boa versus some guy named Zion Quinn. And this is really weird. Boa like looks over towards the uh, uh, what is that woman's name? Maylene or whatever her, I can't remember what her name is. The Dragon Lady. Um, Looks over to her. She gives some signal. He turns around and is immediately hit with something, and Zion Quinn picks up the win. Shocker! Zion Quinn is a big, like 6'5", muscly dude. So take that what you will. I do think it's funny. After he wins, he gets out of the ring. He starts walking up the ramp, and he sees Ming up on the uh, ramp, and he like nope, and he goes the other way and goes out over the barricade and out that way. I thought that was very funny. There's a quick funny segment of LA Knight and Johnny Gargano like arguing. Johnny Gargano, they are setting up a wedding on the September 14th episode of NXT between Andy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis. But Johnny Gargano was telling William Regal to cancel the wedding. Uh, and LA Knight and Gargano getting a big yelling argument, and William Regal tells him to get out. Uh, Malcolm Bivens then cuts a promo in the back. He shows Roderick Strong's like wrestling, like training with new recruits, and he's saying next week there's going to be another open challenge. Uh, just I'm most likely Kushida having COVID since he's been out for 2 weeks. Uh, let's admit it. Probably has COVID. Uh, they're just kind of spinning their wheels until he comes back so they can have their match. Um, and now the main event is Hit Row, Ashanti of the Adonis, Top Dollar, and Swerve Scott take on Legado del Fantasma. Uh, that's it. Okay, this was a good match. Really good match. Hated the finish. I gotta remember her name. Uh, Elektra Lopez comes out and to even the odds with B Fab, because B Fab is up on the ring apron or outside trying to, you know, help her friends out, help out uh, Hit Row. Elektra Lopez comes out and she hits uh, B Fab with a steel pipe. This leads to Swerve Scott being distracted and rolled up for a finish. Really good match, really cool six trios match that ends with a roll up. You know, this like gang war feud, and the match is won with a roll up. Like, what sense does that make? This again, this is more main roster leaking into NXT. We don't need this. We don't need cheesy roll up finishes. I like both groups. I want to see both of them succeed. Stop with the roll up finishes and distraction finishes. Overall, I can't say it was a bad episode. It was a good episode of NXT. It's just you can already kind of see the changes taking place. Uh, and so yeah, uh, it is starting to look sad for NXT. Uh, hopefully, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, and they stay where they have been. But we'll see. If you like this video, drop a like. Subscribe to the channel for more videos. Comment down below. Follow me on Twitter at Mr. Rob Reed, and I'll see you on the next video.